Instagram, we're here and we're live on Facebook. This is exciting. I'm happy to be here. Remember, every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, I will answer, Dr. Rob, any and all of your health questions. So, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, here we are. But before we start, as always, let me know where you're from. We always go through it. Are you from New York? Are you from New Jersey? Are you from California? Are you from Southeast Asia? Where are you from? I'm curious. We all want to know. I do appreciate everybody sending their questions in advance. That's another thing that if you get the opportunity, please send your questions in advance. We've got about 7 questions that are needed to be answered out of an assortment of questions that were emailed in and put on Facebook. So, okay, I see a couple of people. Interesting. Kansas City, Kansas. Rwanda, how are you? Is eating buffalo meat healthy? Is eating buffalo meat healthy? I guess Dennis wants this question answered now. When you say buffalo, I assume you mean bison. It is my favorite protein source. It's yummy. It's full of nutrients. Should be grass-fed, but it's really more so than grass-fed, grass-finished. It's wild. As long as it's allowed to eat what it wants, you are great with bison. It has the highest protein to low-fat ratio that you can get in any kind of beef, if you will. It's something that I probably eat, 2 to 3 times a day. 2 to 3 times a week. I got to smile. So I'm a big bison guy. So buffalo, double thumbs up without question. Let's get into some of the questions. If you have any questions, we've got our whole team there. I can see the questions on Facebook. Let's go. What's my take on probiotics? Well, I take them. So obviously my take is positive. Probiotics to give life. Got a whole bunch of notes here. Got everything prepared. Probiotics give life. The life microorganisms. They're really qualified by genus, species, and strain. Genus, great example. Lactobacillus, species, acidophilus, the strain. Probiotics are strain specific. So the strain signifies the function and the property of the probiotic. So for instance, not all lactobacillus are of the same health promoting properties. So that's very interesting. So the real takeaway on probiotics are this. It's twofold. Number one, keep switching your probiotics because you want a biodiversity in your probiotics. And please do not take any probiotics without a prebiotic. A prebiotic, interestingly enough, is a non-digestible carb serving as a food source for probiotics. Great examples of them are Jerusalem artichokes, chicory, garlic, and onions. They help reduce the appetite. Some health benefits of probiotic: bone health, gastrointestinal health, metabolic health, and weight management. So those prebiotics are, without question, an excellent choice of things to add. In addition, the prebiotics should be fed to the probiotic to make what we call a postbiotic. That postbiotic is a short-chain fatty acid, is a great example. Butyrate is the short-chain fatty acid. So I know that we covered the probiotic. Do me a favor. When you buy a probiotic, reach out to me when you're interested in one. The reason is there's a lot of garbage on the market. The question is the probiotic live? How do you get it? So there are certain delivery companies that are not temperature controlled. So that large heat may populate the probiotic, may kill the probiotic. So it's not what they say is on the bottle is what you're getting in your stomach. So whatever you do, reach out to me. Ask me about the specific genus, species, and of course strain. Ask me about the mechanism of how they got there. And ask your supplier this question. If they say 10 billion colony-forming units, is that 10 billion colony-forming units at the start of the digestive tract, or did they test it at the destination, which is your large intestine? Question number 2 was, they asked about probiotics. They asked about the new hot probiotic on the market, Akkermansia. And Akkermansia, without question, is warranted in a consideration of something that I would take. I actually just switched over to Akkermansia now. It supports healthy glucose metabolism. It supports healthy weight management. promotes colon health. It supports a balanced gut microbiome. It supports digestive health. It promotes healthy immune function. How does it do that? Well, there's something that's in the gut called mucin cells. So mucin cells are a critical element to allow the gut to heal and the cells to grow back. Akkermansia actually munches on the mucin cell. It eats it. And when it eats it, it causes a release of a metabolite to allow the gut to heal even in a sturdier fashion. Studies have shown that Akkermansia can drop a blood sugar marker called hemoglobin A1C 1 full point. Tremendous over 6 months. What does that mean? You can go from being in a diabetic marker to a healthy, normal marker. So I think Akkermansia is a great, great choice. Lactobacillus acidophilus, B-lactis, Bacillus subtilis. Bacillus subtilis is a spore. It's also shown to decrease the ingestion of a lot of needed fats or fats. It also shown to decrease the release of alpha synculate. So tips for better sleep. I mean, sleep is a tremendous hack. That is a great question. So let me give a few of those. Number one, you want to maintain your regular sleep schedule. Unfortunately, somebody like me who travels on the weekend to different time zones, my goal is to stay in the same circadian rhythm as I always do. So for instance, if I go to the Midwest, I don't change my phone back with 1 hour. I don't go from Eastern to Central time. So you want to continue, if you can, in a regular sleep cycle. Establish regular, relaxing bedtime routines. Give yourself like 30 minutes to fall asleep. Shut off all your blue lights. Shut off your cell phones. Shut off the laptop. Let that go down. Exercise regularly and avoid anything that may keep you up, like caffeine, nicotine, alcohol, close to bedtime. Did we get anybody reaching out? Don't forget TikTok, tap, tap. Facebook, I'm still waiting to hear from you. Instagram, I know you're growing. We're here. You're popping in. I'm excited to share some Q&As right now. Can you reverse diabetes naturally? What a great question. Let's talk about diabetes type 2. Let's not talk about insulin-needed diabetes type 1. Diabetes type 2, you can make an indelible mark on, and you can do so by cutting down your usage of ultra-processed food. The ultra-processed food has been at the top of everybody's headline this week because the government came out, or I should say the FDA came out and said there's no known data that implies that ultra-processed food causes any kind of health issue. That is crap. That's ridiculous. That's funny. You know, where I grew up, we used to have a saying, an opinion without risk is no opinion at all. Anytime, any place, anybody from the FDA who wants to discuss it, I'm available. Call me at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll get up. Put a few dollars up on that statement. That is ludicrous. Don't buy it for a second. 73% of the calories that we're exposed to comes from ultra-processed food. Ultra-processed food is a food that is made by man and has 5 ingredients or more. 62% of the calories that we consume come from ultra-processed food. So cut out your ultra-processed food, cut your carbohydrates down, try and eat in a window of intermittent fasting, and take some good quality supplements like omega-3 fatty acid, vitamin D, fenugreek, alpha-lipoic acid. I think those would be some great choices. And believe it or not, a critical element to boost your gut ability would be pre and probiotics, like we talked before. You'll be able to lower your blood sugar levels when you do that. Best exercise for joint pain. There's a bunch of exercises that are great for joint pain. Number one would be swimming, strength training, yoga, walking, tai chi, and even dance, most predominantly ballet dance. Exercises to avoid would be movement in direction, things that cause a lot of jumping, heavy weightlifting, exercise on uneven terrains, high intense exercise, and anything where you're using a lot of impact. We have to decrease the impact. So I think we got something coming down the pike. So in the interim, somebody said, give me a sleep formula. So let's go to a sleep formula. Sleep formula would be B6, taurine, 5-HTP, passion flower, lemon balm, hops and valerian root, L-theanine, calcium and magnesium, and GABA, and of course, my favorite, melatonin. So we got a question coming down. Let's go. Comment on inflammation being the lead cause of high cholesterol. Great question. So that really begs a bigger answer in that cholesterol, interestingly enough, is cholesterol a problem? Is it a friend or a foe? Cholesterol is a messenger. It is not a foe. It is a friend. It is a joke when a doctor says to you, you just have a high total cholesterol. It's not the cholesterol that's the problem. We're now even seeing literature that HDL may not be that healthy for you, and LDL may not be that deleterious to your overall health. Everything is switching around. So what you may want to consider is this. If you're going to take a cholesterol marker, the markers you want to take a particle size. The smaller, thinner particle size can be more detrimental to your health because they have the ability to get under the arteries. A bigger particle size, whether it be HDL or LDL, they're going to sit on the outside of the artery and you have an ability to remove them. They can get vacuumed away through the healing process. In addition to that, ApoB is a marker that everybody out there should take. ApoB is a marker that speaks to the idea of like the boat of all bad cholesterol. 5% of the population takes an ApoE marker. You need to ask your practitioner, come to me, I'll get you the ApoE marker. That's really going to reveal the incidence of heart disease by 3 times over just regular LDL and HDL markers. In addition to that, the real marker, the genetic marker, is LP little a. LP little a is a genetic marker for heart disease. 30% of Americans have LP little a. 40% of their relatives have LP little a. LP little a is a heart attack marker, and statins raise it, whereas lifestyle changes can definitely decrease LP little a. But the key is inflammation. And that's right. What a great question. It's not the cholesterol. It's cholesterol coupled with inflammation. So you should be looking for something like ANA, C-reactive protein, HS C-reactive protein. You look for those markers with cholesterol markers, that's going to be the problem. That's going to be, unfortunately, the dynamic duo of plaquing and damage to overall arteries. TikTok, tap. Instagram. Do we have another question on Instagram? Facebook. How are we doing? Well, we've got another asked question. This will be our last asked. This will be our second to last asked question. So they say, Mr. Peptide. I guess I'm Mr. Peptide because they talk about BPC 157 a lot. What's the new peptide on the market? Funny you ask, because I've got one I'm ready to share. It's called KBV, which stands out for its remarkable anti-inflammatory potential. It is a peptide consisting of lysine, proline, and valine. It showed tremendous promise in modulating the body's inflammatory responses. In addition, it's shown supporting inflammation by decreasing the production of pro-inflammatory cytokines, and it also has been shown to help attenuate and ameliorate a large number of pathogens like fungi, protozoa, viruses, and bacteria. How do I take it? Excellent question. I would take it with BPC 157 and KRV without question. And if you really want to go for the trifecta stack, I would do BPC 157 with KRV and PEA. And let's not forget, we talked about it last week, TB4 frag, another great peptides. Peptides are where we are and where we're going to go. Peptides are beads of amino acids, but they're not long enough to be a protein. And without question, they have a lot of medicinal effects. Hey, Laura, thanks for submitting the question. You see mushroom coffee all over the social media platforms. Is it really better than regular coffee? Does it have any health benefits? Well, one, coffee is my drink. To you, Laura, it's organic coffee. So number one, we want organic coffee because coffee bean is the third most sprayed item in America today behind tobacco, cotton. So one, we want coffee. Two, we want the bean. and we want the bean and we want to grind it. Once we get the grinds, we want to use a filter. We don't want to use a white filter because it's bleached. We want to use a brown filter because it's not bleached. So if you take those steps, let's say all coffee is equal at that juncture, which is great. I do like the mushroom coffee. Because, do I think it's better than regular coffee? Yeah, why not? Because who wouldn't want some mushrooms in there because of their immune enhancing ability? So thumbs up to mushroom coffee if it's organic. And last question that I was submitted was, what's your take on vitamin D? Well, I take vitamin D. I'm a big proponent of vitamin D. I think everybody should know their vitamin D level. Why don't you guys put in the comment section your vitamin D level? Now, you'll be surprised. We probably have hundreds of people watching right now, and most people don't know their vitamin D level. It's probably one of the top 5 markers that you should know and have your practitioner test for. So my suggestion is vitamin D3, typically about 5,000 IUs with K2. I like to take vitamin D3 with food because it's a fat-soluble vitamin. It needs fat to help with its absorption rate. So again, vitamin D3 with K2. Do we have anybody else? Well, every week, Tuesday, 2 p.m., just remember, tap, TikTok, Instagram, we're coming for you. Facebook, thanks for your time. Dr. Rob, always yours at health.